Guys, it's an honor to be with y'all today. I'm sorry you thought you were, if you're hopping on here, you're like, wait, I thought Jay Atkins was doing this training. He was doing this training, but he was double booked and had major conflicts in his schedule and said, I need you to do this training. And that's why I'm here. So I'm honored to be here with you guys. Thank you for hopping on the first ever mindset training call with the combination of U90X and Wellness Revolution. Guys, we are fired up and pumped about this. And excited for 2026. Really, I mean, this is I think when you bring more people together that are passionate about the same things, running towards the same goals, the chemistry, it's undeniable. And I think that a rising tide floats all ships. And so I'm excited to see where we go from here. But thank you guys. Okay, here's what I want to do today. And I just want to get vulnerable with you guys for a minute and let you know where I've been. I want to tell you a story and see if it relates to anybody because, I think a lot of times sometimes when we get on these calls, if we're not the most motivated or the most excited or like the most happy and positive, then we feel like we're doing something wrong. It's like, man, I feel like I'm doing something wrong because everybody seems to have everything figured out and everybody's ready to run and everybody's business is great and everybody's life is great. But here I am and I'm not sitting like that right now. I just want to encourage you that's okay. That's okay. So here's what happened to me. So 2 days ago, I go and meet with a good friend of mine that's been a mentor for a long time, and we're sitting down and eating dinner. And honestly, for about 2.5 years, I talked to this guy almost every single day until we moved recently. We lived next to each other. We worked out every day, and it was kind of one of those guys in your life that, man, we just sharpened each other. We were reading the same things, we were growing together, we were talking business, we were talking relationships and life, and I grew a lot from him. But then we moved and I hadn't seen him in 6 months, although we still talk a lot, and he came in to visit and I'm like, Andrew, what's going on in your life? Like give me the update. And he's got so much going on. His business is taking off. He's exploding. He's flying all over the country doing cool things. He's excited about the future. Like he's one of those guys that, like Jay would say, you're committed to your morning routine and you get better every day and you're reading a book every 2 weeks and you're growing and you're developing a massive team. You get it, right? That's what he's doing. And so, and I'm pumped for him. I'm like, Andrew, this is amazing. And then he's like, all right, what about you? Tell me about you. And I'm like, this is why I told you I was going to get vulnerable with you. I'm like, you know what? I'm like the polar opposite, man. I was like, the last 60 days, I haven't been very motivated. And to be honest with you, I haven't wanted to read any books or listen to any good podcasts or hear how motivating something is and how inspired people are. Like, I haven't wanted any of that. I'll be honest with you. I've been in a totally different place mentally. And I felt like he's my safe place. I can share that with him, right? And I'm like, all right, give it to me. He's gonna encourage me. And he's like, Kyle, that's okay. Like, it's okay. In fact, he said, I think even God designed us to have rhythms in our life to where we're not always on a high or always ready to run or always perfect with our routines. It's like, I think that's how we were created. He goes, think about our seasons, summer, fall, winter, spring. God designed seasons. There's a time for everything. He went on to tell me, he goes, listen, there's a time to plant, there's a time to sow, there's a time to harvest. There's a time to give. There's a time to take. There's a time to rest. There's a time to work. Right? Think about all this. There's a time for everything. In fact, God tells us in His Word, there's a time for everything. And so where I've been the last 60 days, He was saying, I think that's okay, and I think that sometimes that's needed. I say it to say this. I want to encourage you guys. If that's you or if that was you, I don't feel like I'm there today. By the way, the last week has transitioned into a totally different rhythm in my life. But if that's you, it's okay. It's okay. Give yourself some grace. Don't feel bad for not being the most motivated or the most productive in a certain season of your life. That is why we have rhythms. But I want to tell you this. I think there's three things that we learn from a little bit of a pause, or as we close the new year, we're looking forward to the new or the past year, we're looking forward to the new year, and everyone's reflecting and everyone's creating goals. And I want to give you three things that I think are important in those times where you're maybe not the most motivated, right? Number one is this: a different rhythm that's not all run. First, to reset. Number one is to reset. It gives us time to reset. Y'all, if we're not careful, we find ourselves running sometimes so hard in life that we almost have blinders on. And if we stop for a moment and take our blinders off, we can look up and go, how'd I get here? How'd I get here? This isn't where I thought I was going to be. We almost need a time to reset and to go, okay, I thought I was going this way. I really got off course though. Now I'm going this way. Let's evaluate. Let's reset. Sometimes I think we can look up and we can be doing the completely wrong thing. I know a lot of times in my life, I've been going so hard and pushing so hard that I can look up 6 months later and go, I don't even think I'm doing the right thing. I think I'm doing this all wrong, or I think I need to change everything. But without that time to think and evaluate and to reset, you don't get clarity. So when you reset, you get clarity. Okay, that's the first thing. First is to reset. Second is to reflect. Okay, the best way to move forward a lot of times is to look backwards. It is our past, it is our successes and our wins, it is our failures and our losses that often teach us the most and direct us and guide us into a successful future. So, a lot of times, your past helps create your future if you'll take a moment to reflect and learn from it. Remember, there's really no failures in life. You really can't fail as long as you learn. In fact, the only difference between people that you see that have success that you want in life, whether it's in this business or relationally or whatever it is, if they have success and you're going after it, the only difference usually between you and them is the amount of times they failed. They've usually failed a whole lot more to get to where they are than you have at this point. Sometimes that just means time. You just need more time. But failure is never failure unless you don't learn from it. So I hope that you've taken some time to reflect. Okay? We've reset, we reflect, and third's to plan. You guys, y'all know the saying, we never plan to fail, but without a plan, we do fail. We have to plan. And I'm going to throw this out there. Planning does not just mean with us. Planning means with other people. Like for example, with my mentor, my buddy Andrew. Planning with somebody like that can counsel me, that can advise me. There's a proverb that says, "Without counsel, plans fail, but with many counselors, they succeed." I think that's why this is so great and what we're doing here together and how we're building together because we're all one another's kind of advisors and counselors and accountability, if you will. But guys, we have to plan. We have to plan and we have to seek counsel. So again, to recap this little story, it's okay if you've been in a season where you're not happy with your business, with you're not happy with your growth, maybe with your life. Maybe you're not happy where you currently are in life for multiple reasons. It's okay. It's okay. That could have been a rhythm and a season that God needed to put you in so that maybe you could do the three things we just talked about: reset, reflect, and then plan. It's okay. In fact, that can be a foundation. I want to encourage you to make that a foundation to launch off of into 2026. Okay. Now, I don't think it's okay to stay there. Like if I look up 30, 60 days later and I'm still where I told you I was 60 days ago, that's not okay. Right? I got to come out of that because that's apathy. Then that turns into you're just apathetic. No, 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 no. I believe you come out of that and then it's go time again and you start growing and impacting and pouring into yourself so you can pour it into others. And that's where I find myself today. So there's a little bit about seasons and rhythms. Now, I want to talk to you about two things really today, and then we'll answer any questions you have and kind of keep this a little shorter than this will not be anywhere close to an hour. But number one is this, and this goes right in with what I was just saying, but I want to hit it because it's crucial. Identity. Identity. Again, as we're starting a new year, I'm trying to give you some high level things that you can ponder and hopefully make some sense of. Identity. If you have a pen and a paper, if I were to ask you this, I wonder what you would write down. Who do you say you are? Who do you say you are? If I said, "Hey Francisco, hey Nicole, hey Maria, hey, who do you say you are?" And I wanted you to describe yourself to me, but I don't care about your name. It's not about your name, it's who you are. At the core, at the core of your humanity, your identity, who are you? Well, here's what I think that we do a lot often, a lot of times. I think that we have three versions of who that we are or who we are. I think we have a past self, I think we have a present self, and I think we have a future self. Now, here's what I think happens a lot of time to shape our identity. All right. Our past self are stories from our past that play on repeat. It's just like a CD on repeat, a video, a movie, whatever it is, just on repeat. It's our past self on repeat. Now, here's part of the problem. A lot of times, our future self listens to our past self. And then what that does to our present self is keeps us stuck in the middle, reinforcing who we keep telling ourselves we are based on our past. So if you're not careful, you are reinforcing every day mentally who you are today and who you will be in the future by the stories from your past. This can be the most devastating thing to anybody in this business or in any area of your life. Any area of your life. We don't want to be who we were in the past, right? Who we were in the past won't get us to where we want to be in the future. We want to be a different version of ourselves and we want to grow and we want to be better. So, how do we do that? Okay, two things that I want to encourage you with. Okay, number one, we have to make a to be list, not a to do list, a to be list. And a to be list is what behaviors do I need to have today that will help me turn into the person that I want to be tomorrow? James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, probably one of the best books over the last decade, says that every single time that you do something that helps form your future identity to the way you want it to be, you're casting votes towards yourself to become that person. Meaning, let's say in 2026, you want to get more healthy. You want to maybe lose 25 pounds and you want to maybe gain 10 pounds of muscle and you maybe want to, do this many steps or whatever it is. Every time you put on those running or walking shoes and you walk out the door, you're casting votes to the identity of you are physically healthy or you are an athlete or you are someone that prioritizes their well-being health-wise, right? Maybe you want to love your spouse better. And so every single time you write her that note or him that note in the morning before you leave or send that text or whatever it is, you're casting votes to an identity of someone who loves and deeply cares for their spouse, right? So we make a to be list, number one. That's how we change our past. Number two is we do this. Now listen, I know a lot of people have a past that is significantly harder than anything that I can imagine. I'm not belittling that or downplaying that. But I am saying this. No matter how much of a victim that you've been in your past, by your circumstances, by other people, by relationships, whatever it is, you were also a hero in your past. You're a hero. So if you're on repeat telling yourself a story of why you're not worthy or why you can't, because you were told or you were shown or you were put out or whatever it is, you got to understand that you're also the hero because you made it out of that situation and you are here today. You didn't stay stuck where you were. You were the hero of that and you became who you are today. The only thing holding you back is repeating that story. So what we're going to do is we're going to reframe the stories from our past. Every time that you take a story from your past and you find failure or you find fault or blame on you, or you find, insignificance or unworthiness, you're going to flip that and you're going to find the hero in that story. And we're going to start reframing these things that have happened to us. Guys, I've had things in my past that have happened that for me in my life have been horrible. For maybe for you in your life, they're nothing. Maybe you have catastrophic things that have happened, but they have been horrible. And I can play the victim card and be like, yeah, this is why, because of this, because of them, because of this situation. Or I can play the hero card and go, no, I got out of that. I overcame that. I am here today and I overcame that. And I'm now going to look at that situation and go, hey, I made it through that. I made it through that. And I'm going to make it through it again, if it
Hmm.
happens again, but I made it through that.
Amen.
So those are two things that you can do to rewrite the script of who you are and who your identity is. Literally, my humble cry and prayer for you is that if you wrote down the identity of who you are, remember I said who you are and you wrote something down, if you struggled with that, or if you wrote down something that you really didn't believe, or if you wrote down something that was kind of negative, my prayer is that you do these two things, and 6 months later, we can write down a totally new description of your identity. You can be in a totally different mental state, which will make you have a totally different view on life. And guys, listen to me. This is important. How you view things determines how you do things. So if you view yourself as not really gonna make it work in this business, or not being worthy to have what it takes to actually receive the money or the income from this business, guys, that's how you're gonna do things. How you view it is how you do it. Or if you view this as a joke and it's just a whatever, guess what? You're gonna get paid like that. That's how you're gonna do things. Or if you view it as literally a million or multi-million dollar business like it truly is, that's how you're gonna do things. And you're gonna be rewarded in that way. Okay, so it matters how you view things, but mostly it matters how you view yourself. And not to preach, but I just want to tell you, guys, I believe we were created in God's image, and I believe that you are an image bearer and you were perfectly made and woven in your mother's womb, and who you sit when you sit here today, who you are is exactly who God designed. Yes, we all have faults. Yes, we can all be better. But you need to take great comfort in the fact that you were uniquely and wonderfully made and that you are worthy. You are just as worthy to receive your desires in your hearts as any other person, as Juan Carlos and Esteban and Jay. It does not matter who it is. You are just as worthy. Just as worthy. And those desires in your heart, I believe a lot of times are God given. And so those are the desires that he gives you to go run after and to chase. And then you just need to look some tools, right, to help you along the way, and some community to help you on the way. And that's what we're trying to do here. Okay. All right. So that's identity. I'm kind of hitting you with high level today as we get the new year started. We have rhythms. We have given ourselves grace in different seasons. And then we have identity and how to reshape our identity. The last thing that I want to touch on is three principles that I kind of think are just life principles and that are crucial to how I operate in life. And so I just want to give them to you and see if it's something maybe you want to implement into the new year. Number one is this: how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. I have yet to meet somebody that is highly organized in business, highly successful. They got it together. They always look sharp. And then you walk into their house and it's destroyed. Or you hop in their car to go to lunch and it looks just like it's never been cleaned ever. But man, they're crazy organized in business and they look sharp and they're clean cut. No, that's not really how that works. I've never really seen that. Are you with me? Usually, if you let things go and you live in a pigsty and your car is so sloppy no one wants to get in it, usually you're not just the most organized, most successful version of yourself. How you do anything is usually how you do everything. If you're a finisher, you usually finish in life. If you're not a finisher, you usually don't finish things. And can I tell you the danger with that? And please write this down because this isn't from me, but this is probably one of the most impactful things I'll say today. This is from Todd Duncan. He says 95% of the people in this world do 95% of the work required and share in 5% of the pie of what's available. 5% of the people in the world do 100% of what it takes, which is only 5% more, and they share in 95% of the what's available. So most of the world is missing 95% of what they could have because they won't go the extra 5%. That's how you do anything is how you do everything. That's finishing. That's what it takes to win in this business. Okay? Number two. Now this one, I want to let you know this is a hard one. And as I say this, I'm looking at me, I'm not looking at you. Okay? This is a reflection for me as well. Number two, you're either getting paid for the decisions that you've made in your past or you are paying for them now. That's tough because that's true. And as I sit here today, I am either getting paid from the wise business decisions, from the wise health decisions, from the wise relational decisions, spiritual decisions that I made in my past. I'm now reaping some harvest of that, or I'm paying for them. Man, physically, I'm not where I want to be because I didn't do what was required the last 60 days, and now I'm suffering. I'm paying for them. Man, financially, I'm not where I want to be because I didn't work as hard as I needed to the last year, or I didn't, save the way I needed to save. I wasn't responsible enough. Now I'm paying for that. Guys, this is a life principle that is as true as anything. You're either getting paid for the decisions that you made in your past, or you're paying for them today. Let's have 2026 be a year where we look back and we go, man, we're getting paid. We're getting paid for making wise, good choices, good decisions, taking good action, right? We're reaping the rewards of that. And then number three, your income will never, ever exceed the level of your personal development. It won't happen. I'm going to tell you a true story to highlight this. 9 years ago now, my wife and I joined another direct sales company called Monate. And we were in that company and it blew up on us and just went crazy. And I'm just going to be real blunt and real honest with you. We grew that thing in about 18 months to six figures a month. And when we got to six figures a month, we looked at each other and we're like, what just happened? Like we we are not worthy of this. We are not this good. Like how did this happen? We almost felt guilty. We're like, I can't even fathom what is happening. Here's what happened. Our business, excuse me, outgrew us. It outgrew us. John Maxwell says this is called the leadership lid. And if you consider yourself maybe say you're right now a six from 1 to 10 as a leader, your business is never going to go to a seven. It's going to be capped at the lid that you have at a six. And if it does go to a seven or an eight, it will find its way back down to where it's underneath what you can handle. Joe and I realized that we weren't who we needed to be to have that kind of business, and our business got cut in half in the next 6 months because it outgrew us, because we weren't at the level that we needed to be personally, our personal development, to have that kind of business and that kind of leadership. We realized that about 6 months later, and we started spending more time on us than our business, and our business started to grow again. As we grew, our business grew. We would grow a little, it would grow a little. We grow a little, it will grow a little. I can't explain it. I know it doesn't make sense. Yes, there's always outliers, and there's some people that just get lucky and win the lottery in business, and you're like, there's no way you should be where you are. Yes, there are, but that is rare, very, very rare. This business will not outgrow you. You are going to have to grow, and you're going to have to be a better version of yourself in order for your business to grow. And you know what? That's encouraging to me because you control that. It'd be hard if this was out of your control, but you control that. The more you grow, the more your business grows. The more you take to account that how you do anything is how you do everything, the more you start doing everything with excellence. The more you realize you're either getting paid for the decisions you've made in your past or you're paying for them now, the more you start to pay for them so your future looks better. So, there's a few things for you on this first ever mindset call. Man, I appreciate you guys being on. That's all I had for you today. I wanted to give you some high level stuff to think through. I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions or any thoughts that you might have for a little bit. Um, if that's okay, Lola. So if so, then by all means you can raise your hand and unmute and we can talk and go from there. And if not, no worries. Well, guys, it's lunch. So I hope everybody's about to eat lunch and have a great Thursday. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Again, I'm beyond excited. Oh, go ahead, Francisco. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joy. Well, I'm Frank from Mexico. Thank you very much for your training. I would like to ask you just one simple thing. What would you recommend us now that we're starting 2026? What would be your best advice to start the new year with prospects, with people? Would you give me some advice on how should I start what we already built last year if we want to grow it bigger this new year?
Mhm. This is a really great question. Um, I would do a couple things. Number one, I would rebuild a list, rebuild my list entirely. Um, I would make sure that I'm following up this year with a whole lot of people that you probably talked to last year that did not come on board. So I'd do a new list. I would make sure I was really good at follow-ups. And then I would make a commitment. Jay's going to talk about the 2 and 10 on the next training and kind of talk through what he does. And so I'm going to save that for him, but I'll give you the high level of it real quick. Never let a day go by you don't talk to two new people.
Correct, correct. Do,
Yep.
do you know when it's going to be the next training? Just to be aware.
Yes, sir. So the next mindset training, which is what we're calling this, will be next week at this time.
Oh, excellent,
But we
excellent.
will have onboarding, opportunity, and testimonial calls Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week that will all be posted in all the chats. And then Thursday will always be this mindset call.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Happy New Year. Best luck to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Great question. What books do you recommend? I just saw this in there. I'm looking right here. I only have 4 or 5 right here. Um, I love The Compound Effect. If you've never read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, this is a very simple book. Um, it's very easy, but it's very profound. If I was going to start my new year off and I've never read that, I'd read that book. Sweet. Can I share my morning routine? Oh, here we go. Yeah, I can share my morning routine. I'll give it to you real quick. I usually wake up. Now, listen, again, I started this training saying over the last 60 days, I've been in a totally different rhythm and season. And I was encouraging you guys that that's okay. So I'm going to tell you my morning routine when I'm doing things right. I have failed at this a lot over the holidays, but I'm back in it. And when I'm doing things right, my morning routine is I usually wake up 5:30 ish, and I usually first things that I do personally, I get in the Word, I read my Bible, and then I journal and pray. You can meditate, just a moment, just having silence and getting your thoughts together. That's what I do first. Then I usually go into a book and I read a book. I try to just read 10 pages a day. I try to keep it pretty simple. If I don't, if I spend a little too much time over here, which happens, and I don't get to this, I'll get to this later in the day. But I do want to get to this in the day. Then the next thing that I do, and this is huge priority to me, is my wife and I are fortunate that we're able to wake up together. Our kids, get ready, and we take them to school together. That means a lot to me to be able to take my kids to school. and spend that time with them. And then from there, my wife and I, Joe and I, we go to the gym together, actually. And then we come back from the gym, and then usually at that point it's like maybe 9:30, and then we start our day and go our separate ways. So that's my morning routine when I'm doing it right. Like it. All right, guys. Hey, love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Y'all go have a great Thursday, and we'll talk soon. Go win the day, win the weekend. Bye, guys.